ascertained by law.
And tonight on our Great American panel, he is a columnist with the Wall Street Journal. John Funda's back. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Concerned Women for America. Penny Nance is back, and he was an advisor on Jerry Brown's gubernatorial campaign. Democratic strategist, Fox News contributor Joe Trippi. All right, I've had these ongoing battles with the Baldwin brothers. And so I ran into Steve Baldwin about a couple of, I guess it was before Christmas. He and his daughter were here, and I mentioned it on radio. This is all I said. There you go.
You know, I ran into Stephen Baldwin and his daughter, a lovely girl. I mean, Stephen is a very strong Christian advocate, and he had called me because Alec Baldwin and I had a couple of run-ins at some point.
You know talent. You know talent. You know talent.
Yeah, that was one of them, and I kept playing. I went after him when the whole daughter thing came up and all that, and he said, "You know, Hannity, you're a Christian. You got to forgive my brother." He goes, "You got to," and I said, "Well, I agree with you. I don't hold any animus, resentment, hostility towards anybody. I said, I have nothing against your brother."
All right, to make a long story short, we had a big fight back in 2006. He was hosting a show on our flagship station, WABC in New York. I call in with Mark Levin. He walks out of the studio of a show he's hosting, meaning Alec Baldwin. Here's part of what happened.
Why would I want to come on the show with a no-talent former construction worker hack like you?
Are you the guy that said that our vice president, while we're at war, while we're leading troops in harm's way, are you the reckless, third-rate Hollywood actor that said that Dick Cheney's a terrorist? Are you the guy?
Yes, I am.
That stoned Henry Hyde to death? Are you the guy that said our president's a CIA mass murderer?
All right, so we say this other thing. So then Stephen Baldwin writes, Alec's brother, by the way, writes my producer and says, but, that's it, game on. You know, he, meaning I, will regret starting off the new year. He runs to the New York Post and reports the story.
It's funny.
You like this?
It's a great feud.
Now, I have here...
I think it works.
I have Alec Baldwin's rant about his daughter. I'm not going to run it tonight.
Yeah.
If this keeps up, I'm going to run it because he says he's running for office, and I think all is past is fair game. Would that be fair if I did run it?
Well, I don't know, and I understand why Stephen wants to, support his brother. I'm glad that he loves his brother, but I'm just kind of curious why the Alec Baldwin's even still in this country. Didn't he promise us 10 years ago if Bush won that he would leave?
I think there's nothing.
I mean, why is he still here? I don't get it.
Look, don't be cruel to dumb animals or dumb actors. Let it go.
Now you're going to be in the New York Post tomorrow. I'll tell you what, I'm thinking about having Alec Baldwin, let's see, talk show host of the year, father of the year, parent of the year, husband of the year. I might do a whole series on this. Look, if he's going to say game on and he's going to say to me, I'm going to regret this, I'm going to fight back. Fair?
Well, if he's...
I think we're going to see more of this. Is what
I think we're going to see a little more of this. All right, Gallup poll. Democratic Party ID drops to its lowest level in 22 years. Trippy, what's going on?
You know, the same thing we saw last 2006, 2008 when the Republicans dropped to the lowest, one of the lowest numbers that they've seen in a long
31%.
Both parties are losing. Democrats more to independents this year. 2006, 2008 was Republicans.
The really interesting thing is, if you take all the Democrats, 31%, and all the Republicans, 29%, it only equals 60% of the electorate.
Right.
About 4 out of 10 are rejecting both major parties. The Tea Party is becoming the third force in America.
That's right.
40% of people who walked into the polls on November 2nd said they identified with the Tea Party. That's more than either Democrats or Republicans.
Penny, are you as convinced as I am? When John Boehner gives back the plane, when they eliminate earmarks, when they talk about going back to 2008 spending levels, when they read the Constitution, all bills must be, applicable.
Right.
Do you think they are showing the Tea Party exactly what the Tea Party wants to hear?
I think it's very responsible, but I have told them, I've met with about 5 different committee chairmen and subcommittee chairmen already and said this is a time for boldness. You have got, this is not a Democrat or Republican thing, Sean.
Well, I'm a registered conservative.
I think this was an issue election. Concerned Women for America did a poll with Kellyanne Conway, and we found that the vast majority of people, the issues were the economy at 75% and also moral values. That number, by the way, for women was 64%, moral values.
You know, this is really about, the Tea Party was about rejection of both parties. Both parties have sucked.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
They have
this
both
was a
been,
rejection of Obama. Come on,
no,
Joe.
no, the Republican Party under Bush did all the spending. There was no fiscal.
There was no fiscal strength there at all. $5.2 trillion under Pelosi in new debt.
I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm saying that it was true of both parties. It was actually true under Bush too. And the Tea Party started because they weren't.
That's the difference.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference.
That's true.
As bad as the Bush deficit got in the last year with the Republican Congress, Obama quadrupled it.
Well, hopefully both parties have gotten the message, and 63 Democrats followed Obama off the cliff in this last election.
All right, we've got to take a quick break. More with our great American panel. Straight ahead. Settlement in a free speech lawsuit brought by the ACLU. Pennsylvanians have been ticketed for cursing at an overflowing toilet, swerving motorcyclist, ticket issuer. By the way, they deserve to be cursed at. They drive me nuts when they give you parking tickets because you didn't put your quarter in the machine. No, I'm just kidding. You don't really deserve to do that. But what do you think? Free speech?
Want to yell at your toilet? You should be allowed to yell at your toilet. Why should you get a ticket for that?
You paid for it.
You paid for it? Well, wait a minute. It might have been part of a government stimulus. You never know.
I may be stupid, but I don't understand what's wrong.
Yeah, okay. I would say a couple things. First off, civility is important to the public discourse. Everybody, I mean, all the way back to George Washington and his 101 standards.
If a motorcyclist cuts in front of me,
hang on, and in your car, sure. Or in the face of a cop, I'm not sure. The other point is, what is up with the ACLU? Let me get this straight. It's okay in public to use God's name as long as you put an expletive at the end of it, but you cannot use God's name sincerely and reverently and it be okay with them.
That is an interesting point, Trippy. Your response? You don't have one.
No, I don't have a response to that. I just think
that point was too good.
No, I mean, look, I think freedom of religion, freedom of speech, these are these are the things that make the country great. ACLU's.
The ACLU makes a living off of suing schools and small communities in Knoxville, Tennessee, because the public wants to in some way talk about their faith. And over it. This thin veneer of respectability the ACUL has is over.
Any organization that protects people's rights to yell at their toilet is okay by me.
All right, let me go on to, first of all, the administration has lost, their entire economic team. I'm really missing Robert Gibbs already. The thought of him leaving is very depressing to me. William Daley is going to be the new White House chief of staff. He's got connections to Fannie Mae, just one of the many in the administration. Good choice, bad choice, John?
Well, a year ago, William Daley was the first Democrat who warned the Obama administration they were moving too far to the left. He said they risked electoral disaster in an op-ed in the Washington Post. He was right. So let's get this straight. Obama has extended all of the Bush tax cuts, including on the upper income earners. He's gotten rid of a lot of liberals in his office, and he's hired William Daley, who was the leading voice for moderation, is also the brother of the mayor of Chicago, who, of course, started Obama's political career. Sounds to me as if Obama has implicitly abandoned much of his policies of the last 2 years, and he's falling back on his Chicago machine roots.
Well, wait a minute. But he pushed the Radical Start Treaty, Don't Ask, Don't Tell. They pushed the DREAM Act. Show me where there's been a significant shift in his opinion. I don't think he had any choice about the tax agreement going into the...
Well, I think he recognizes he doesn't have any choice. So I think he's moving to symbolic issues to placate the left. Where on economics, I think you're going to see a lot of regulation still pushed through, but the cosmetics, the atmospherics of the administration are going to be far more moderate under William Daley.
A lot tougher for the right to call him a socialist and to get ready for the left.
It's not.
No, are talking about him as a corporate. Yeah, it's corporate socialism, I guess.
This is about the run-up to the election and being able to raise money from uber-rich donors. Let's not forget that how many months ago that the Chamber of Commerce was part of the axis of evil and was accused of all kinds of illegality.
That's what Daley is.
And now all of a sudden
he's basically a message to the Democratic donors. We're not going to be so far left that we're going to scare the Wall Street people who give us the money.
We need your money.
What's wrong with Bill Daley is not much of a difference there. I mean, it's they were in business together.
You really think Trump served Obama well?
I think that was one of the first mistakes Obama made coming in. I've said that from the beginning. I don't think this is necessarily a good move for him either. Although, actually, I think from an electoral point of view, it's a great move for him. He's moving to the right. A lot of the progressives won't.
I think he's going to be forced, like on issues like the debt ceiling. He has no choice. Congress controls the purse strings. And this new Congress, if they adhere to the promises they made, they are going to demand spending cuts, significant ones, and they're going to defund significant portions of health care. I don't think he can stop it.
But that he gains by that.
He gains, but it's not him. It's not his principles. It's not his ideology change.
I think you're right.
I think he only has
about getting reelected.
Right? Win re-election right
win
now.
re-election right now. That's what you got to do in the general.
I think he's going to move reluctantly, but he will move in that direction.
Penny, last word.
Well, I think he is going to move somewhat, but I think at bottom, Obama is an ideologue, and he's only going to move so far.
All right, guys. Thanks for being with us. Good to see you all. And that is all the time we have left this evening. As always, thank you for being with us. Let not your heart be troubled. The news continues. Greta's next.